Just uploaded a video for you guys. we went live earlier, covered a lot. I'm looking at some of the updated odds. Still don't got much yet, so I'll let this simmer. See how the second stream does, and we'll see how long we stay on, depending on the chat. We know sometimes it gets heated, and sometimes we lose track of time. But like I said, wherever you are, I welcome you, Sydney, Australia. Like this video whenever you get to it, and let me know. We did just get some breaking news, so we were right earlier on the stream. We were talking about how Ernesto Mercado Tito pulled out. So John Boy Montrell, that fight is off, and Mercado released a statement on his Instagram. I put it up on our channel. You could read it. Doesn't get into too many details. Isn't too specific. Basically, just says that it's a minor injury and he's gonna have to pull out of the fight. That was one of the fights I was looking forward to on this Madison Square Garden card. We've had some bad luck lately. I mean, obviously what happened in Norfolk, and fighters do get injured. So this close to fight week, I mean, maybe it happened in sparring. We saw it happen with Sam Goodman and Naoya Inoue literally like 10 days out. So these things do happen. Just kind of bummed out. If you follow Tito's career, he's a guy who feel like he's been overlooked. Big puncher. He ticks all the boxes regarding marketing. And every time he fights, I tune in. What's up, Goat? Did you get any odds? Do you guys have your sports book? Are they releasing any method of victory? Or are they even releasing any of the other cards yet? Because I talked to Muscles. He said you guys aren't even getting options for the Brandon Glanton card in Africa. So Brandon Glanton is fighting in Ghana. Tabiti is headlining, I think, that in Ghana. There's the Argentina card. Nonito Donaire is fighting this weekend. I saw the Pacquiao Barrios undercard. I like the over on 2 of those fights. Pitbull rematch and Brandon Figueroa. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're talking about a card in the future. I'm not mad at that. Angel. No, we only have Hitchens and Cruz. Okay, so we just got to wait a couple days for those books to open up, because you also have Mexico. El Gallo's fighting. Juan Francisco Estrada, he's fighting. And so there is action. I'm just interested if they're going to open up all the books, because we're going to have to piece together another parlay like we did last week. I think sometimes, though, for me, last week was crazy. It was almost 72 hours straight of boxing, starting with the Josh Kelly card all the way finishing in Australia with the Jaya Pattaya card. And I was burned out, mate. By Sunday night, for me, it's like 10:30 p.m. I barely was able to watch Jaya Pattaya, and that's the one pay-per-view I paid for, because all the other fights were streaming, and I was almost sleeping. So this coming week, with only kind of like the biggest fight we got is George and Hitchens, I'm not mad at it. Usually these are kind of the cards that we can win some money. We'll see if there's any 50-50 fights. We'll see what fights they're going to let us bet on. I just uploaded the Pitbull Cruz. I want to start going big soon on a 7 parlay win streak. Yeah, same. I left a little money. Man, I think whenever we win, we always say we left some money on the table. You know what I mean? It's always like, mate, I should have bet more. And then when we lose, you lose a stupid fight, like a 127. What's up, meme? I appreciate you. It's kind of like, I can't believe I put that $7 on my fight card. I know some guys picked. There was a guy that I think was $7, and he fought to a draw in England. A lot of guys ruined their parlay. Every time I bet small, I win. When I go big, I lose. Patience. We got to flip that around, baby. All it takes, like I always say on my breakdowns, these fighters are only good as their last fight. Gamblers and bettors, we're only good as our last bet. And we're only bad as our last bet, too. You know what I'm saying? So if you're coming off a loss, you're one win away from being on a winning streak. Now, I did just upload the fight between, give me 1 second. It's in the playlist. The Andy Cruz fight. He's fighting a Japanese fighter, Hironori Mashiro. David Easter, appreciate you. What do you think of Michael Selsiak? So, Dave, Michael Selsiak? Is he fighting? Give me a second while I answer Dave. Could you spell that again? Maybe I read it wrong. While Dave gets to me, I was talking about Andy Cruz and the Japanese fighter. I'm hoping, guys, they let us take a method of victory bet. This might be a little hot topic, is fighting John Pascal in the near future. The John Pascal fight. Have you seen I haven't seen the odds yet, but I've been told by one of my buddies that it's tough. I don't know how I feel about bet money on Pascal. So, Celsiak, I think I was leaning that way anyway. I didn't know that was his opponent. Just last weekend, fights a cruiserweight. Yeah, just last weekend, I was in a back and forth debate online in a healthy conversation about John Pascal, and this is the guy. Obviously, he was talking about Celsiak. C-Slack. Okay, Pascal is watched. Yeah, so with the odds, one of my buddy who's a big gambler from Vegas, he'll message me and then we go on the phone every now and then. He was talking about that fight, and I thought it was such a, what's the word? Not bizarre fight he was focusing on, but a, what's a better adjective? An obscure fight. You know, I thought he was going to come at me with Canelo Crawford, or, you know what I'm saying? He came at me with the John Pascal fight, and I was kind of caught off guard. And now maybe there's something to it. Maybe that's going around. Yeah. I just lost. I know a couple years ago, John Pascal screwed me. And so it wasn't on my radar. And so I'm not familiar with the fighter either. Like I said, guys, I cover these fights week to week. And if there's even a fighter that I'm a fan of in the near future, I try to just stay streamlined, especially the last 6 months of my channel. It's really helped me. The last 6 months, I've been able to just stay streamlined on week to week. And, you know, we made money and the channel's growing as well. But when we get there, I'm definitely going to do a breakdown. Guys, I think Andy Cruz stops his opponent. I do. And a lot of people are going to take I just want to see what the odds are getting. Give us the lore, David. Why are you focused on that fight? I know. David, great question. David Eister, talk to us about the John Pascal fight. Has a second-round knockout win over a guy who took a prime. Okay, maybe this is it. Who took a prime better beef into the 12th round. Interesting. Because David's the second guy, like you already heard me say, that brought this fight up. And every now and then in the betting world, these things happen. Maybe somebody has insider information. Dude, this past weekend, Nair Albright. I'm watching YSN YouTube channel. It's kind of like a low-key Philadelphia content creator. He's in the gym with Bozy. He's always in Bozy's gym. He's always in some other gyms in Philly. And they were, granted, Albright's from that area. And then Gary from 3D Boxing. People were going heavy on Albright. And I stayed away from that fight. I'm a fan of the guy who thinks it's fun to watch. Okay, I'm going to check him out, Eister. Interesting, David. And then Albright, because last week there weren't a lot of 50-50 fights, a lot of big odds, and that was the Kelvin Davis fight. And I was weighing my options of betting that fight, and I was thinking to myself, Kelvin's fighting in Norfolk, Virginia. He usually fights at 47. He's fighting a guy that fought his brother, which ended kind of, we know how that fight ended. And Albright fights at 35. Why are so many people, and they're fighting at 140, why do I have more than 2 people saying Albright is going to win? So whenever I get information like that, I avoid it. But then as soon as Albright won, I messaged Gary from 3D. I was like, bro, good call. Because he went heavy on that. I think Muscles went heavy on that. Anybody else on the stream who saw the Albright, congrats on that bet, because he was an underdog that won. And there was another fight on that card, on the top rank card, that I stayed away from that I think you guys were calling upset. And I think it came through. There were so many fights, guys. I mean, we covered like 45 fights last week. Only were able to break down 7 of them. But this week I'm going to be able to get to, I'm obviously doing the Richardson, Hitchens, and George fight. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I had my Tito Mercado video about to be uploaded versus John Boy Montreal. Had it broken down, filmed it, edited it. Those videos take me about 2 hours. And then this morning on our live stream, I find out that, he got injured, and I was salty. Tiger versus Troy. I think it was, yeah, you know what? Good memory. People were leaning on, they were going against Tiger, and I actually won money on that fight. I obviously picked Tiger to win. On another fighter I'm not giving up on is Riakpo. Yeah, and that division, we saw, he's kind of floated between divisions up near Richard Riakpo, the British guy. The last time I covered him, I think he fought Chris Billum Smith, if I'm not mistaken. It was a while ago. It's been a couple years. Oh, my bad. I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of Akole. I get mixed up with Akole and Riakpo. Riakpo's 8-1. No, Chris Billum-Smith. Yeah, moved up to heavy. Best channel in boxing. Carlos Vargas, I appreciate you. David, yeah, move up to heavy. He looks good there. I mean, his only loss was, yeah, to Chris Billum-Smith to a decision. Guys, wherever you are, like this video. And let's, these are great questions, David. So are you saying we last saw Riakpo? Yeah, he just fought. He fought Espinola. Richard put on 40 pounds of lean muscle. Madonna got him some good stuff. I saw that. I just Googled and I'm looking at his thing, and the first thing that comes up with Riakpo is Madonna. Yeah, I mean, 78% career knockout to win ratio, 6'5". The dude's a beast. 35 years old. And guys, we know in that heavyweight division, yeah, I think Riakpo was weight trained at cruiser. Yeah, it didn't look like it. It's crazy to think at 6'5", his frame, he was cutting that much weight. And last time we saw Chris Billum-Smith, once again, I hate betting. From here on out, I'm not putting any money on Chris Billum-Smith fights because I go against him and he wins against Brandon Glanton. And then I bet on him and then I don't end up hitting. And he's one of those fighters. Yeah, I bet on him against. I agree, Carlos. I don't see a stoppage. Him and Worley. Gilbert, yeah, against Ramirez. Riakpo beat him once and then he lost one. Interesting. Billum-Smith, they're talking about putting him on another Riyadh card. I mean, he looked good. He impressed me against Glanton. So, do you guys see, back to this weekend, do you guys see Andy Cruz stopping? If you've done your film study, guys, not just on paper, if you've done your film study on his opponent, on the Japanese fighter, Mishori, Hironori Mishiro. I agree. I like Glanton's heart. He didn't have enough. So we'll get to Glanton in a second. He's fighting this weekend in Africa. Hironori Mishiro. Hironori Mishiro is Andy Cruz's opponent. It's his first 12-round fight. Do you guys think? I'm thinking. I just uploaded my film study on it. I like Andy Cruz to stop him. He's only has 2 stoppages of his 5 fights, but his 2 out of his last 4 he won by stoppage. Andy Cruz, I'm talking about. I'm interested to see what the odds are going to give us on a prop bet. Did you see Teo possibly signing with PBC? I saw a video today. Teo does the chin. Good call. Teo does the video yesterday, and it's this heartfelt video. Well wishes to Keyshawn. It was all around mental health. And then I don't know which Teofimo Lopez I believe, guys. Agreed on stoppage. Yeah, I'm waiting for that prop bet. I'm really comfortable with Andy Cruz stopping this guy. This guy's a Japanese domestic level fighter. He's 17-1-1. I know he's never been stopped, David, but when you look at his opponents, he has one of those records to where domestic level, he's never traveled outside of Japan. He's never fought a 12-round fight. I think the version of Andy Cruz, even though he's coming off a decision, the fight before he got a stoppage, like I said, I think he's sitting down more on his shots. How you feel about TCO if you ain't familiar, if you aren't familiar with it? Why do I know that? GOAT. If you're familiar with TCO. Enlighten me. Good insight. I agree with Johnny. Carlos Vargas. Are you talking about the disparation between the Japanese resume versus Cruz's? And granted, Cruz only has 5 fights, but we know about his amateur pedigree. Yeah, patience. I think that's our money, so just stay tuned. Well, neither did Karen at the time he fought Boots. Yeah, right. Team Combat League. Okay, Team TCL. GOAT. Is Team Combat League that league that Nahir Albright was fighting in? It's a boxing league that these guys are getting rounds in? Are you getting plus money for this? I haven't got the option yet, David, if we're on the prop bet of the stoppage. Right now, it's only money line. But that's why I said, if the juice is worth the squeeze, I'm leaning towards a stoppage. If it's like $1.50, no. But if it's over 3-1, Mashiro been 12 rounds. Has he? I just did this breakdown. 7. Oh, shit. Early in his career. Goddamn, way to check me on that. You know what happened? I stopped at the early in his career. He goes from fighting 6-rounders to then fighting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 12-rounders at 130. And then he goes back to fighting 8-rounders. Interesting. It still doesn't change my opinion. That's weird how it still doesn't change my opinion. I'm looking at his resume, seeing how he climbed up 130, 130, 135, domestic, domestic, domestic. A lot of domestic level guys. I hardly ever bet money on guys never being stopped. It is weird. Will, good call on that. I'm only experimenting with the stoppage as of last weekend due to what some advice from some of the boys. I wanted to experiment it because I was winning all my money on money lines, and now I won last week on the stoppage with Josh Kelly, and then I lost my money line. So I need those two to end up meeting. Anyway, better be Virgil. 3 pound for pound. I mean, Virgil's not in the top pound for pound yet. In some people's list, he is. I just posted the Ring. They just released their most recent pound for pound ratings, and there is Bam, Kajura, Inoue. There's 4 guys under 122, especially betting on a Cuban. Yeah, David, except if his name is Yenli Hernandez, because we won big on Yenli Hernandez, who's a Cuban who won by stoppage. Yeah, so I think we're starting to see the rules bend a bit. You're right. I'm just liking what I see with my reasoning with that, guys, is obviously it just got debunked thanks to you guys. I really didn't see on BoxRec him going from 4 to 6 rounders to these 4 12-rounders. That was part of my reasoning, but the other reasoning is his training with Bozy Ennis. I think that when I'm watching, even just watch Andy Cruz's footage on what he puts out when you see him hitting the bag, or YSN, the YouTube channel I talked about, will have Andy Cruz training. When you see how he's sitting on his backhand, it's different now. It's different. It's not, he's slowly transitioning into punching for the pro game, opposite to how he punched in the amateurs, when you're just scoring points and winning rounds and tapping and entering, exiting. And even like I said, that last fight he won a decision, but the fight before with the stoppage, I noticed it. Yenli stopped Kyron Davis. Yeah. And we won money on that. And Yenli, a lot of guys, I didn't do the film study and release it, but I watched all of the fights, maybe his last 4. The thing I was most impressed with Yenli was that he beat him in cards, David, on the cards. Goat, was that the combat league you were talking about? The boxing league that some of the guys, it's a regional thing that you fight, that people will box in, and they only go a few rounds. Is that what that is? They're not doing like 10 rounders. They're doing 1 or 2 rounds. It's a team sort of thing. If that's the case, if that is the case, if that does exist for up-and-comers or guys who want to stay active, I'm all for that. Be able to get a couple rounds, a couple looks against some decent talents. Because we know boxing, guys, it's all about staying active. And we see that with when guys aren't active. Because Albright, which I just found out, even though Albright hadn't fought in a long time, he was fighting in that league. Hernandez beat Davis by decision. Hernandez didn't stop Davis. He beat. Okay, maybe I won money on Yenli. Yes, it's a 1-round teammate league. I don't understand that much. Okay, I just learned about it. Go from that YouTube channel. You may want to check your bets. So I won on Hernandez though because we covered it on the channel. But he was beating him up. You know what? Also, David, it was on that fight card. Who was the kid who got knocked out? The kid who got knocked out in front of his mom. David, I cover so many fights, man. My mind's everywhere. You're right though. Yenli won on that same fight card, which I won on his bet. There was a fight, and we were live streaming, and he got knocked out brutally, and his mom was in like the second row, and she was crying, and we were talking about, and he's a known name. We know his name. He took David Benavidez some rounds and beat Elijah Garcia. Yeah, Kyron's a good boxer. I was thinking about the guy before him. What are my bets meme for this week? We're still waiting for a lot of the books meme to open up. A lot of you guys in America aren't getting the African card, aren't getting the Argentina card, aren't getting them. Basically, the only fights you guys are getting are Richardson Hitchens versus George, and then the Andy Cruz fight. So his native shaman go the distance, shut it down. Kwame Ritter, GOAT, thank you. So what happened, David? My confusion, even though I did win on Yenli, being the Cuban, it was the Kwame Ritter fight that happened, I think, right before that fight, which I kind of convoluted. That was a bad knockout, Kwame. That was brutal. It was brutal, whenever you get knocked out like that and it goes viral and your family's in the front row. You don't wish that on anybody. Guys, wherever you are, like this video. We're just gonna play it by ear when our betting books let us see more odds, see more method of victories. If you want to go to Hironori Mashiro, there's a couple of his fights online. Nickname is Shut It Down. Fabio fight was a nightmare in betting. Guys, with the Fabio Wardley and Justice Huni fight, I broke it down. Obviously, my pick was looking good on my breakdown, but I put all my money on the knockdown prop. So I won money on the knockdown, but I lost credibility because I picked Huni. Oh, yeah, you mentioned Tiger earlier. He didn't look that great. He won. Are you getting odds? The only fight, GOAT, that I'm seeing is the Brandon Glanton fight on the Ghana card. I think that card is going to... We should be able to get those odds because O'Hara Davies is on that card. Yeah, he won. Yeah, I took a money line, Tiger. O'Hara Davies is fighting Muhammad Al-Hassani. Brandon Glanton's fighting John Napari. Andrew Tabiti is... I'm pretty sure Andrew Tabiti is headlining. Daniel Gorsh is on the card. Yeah, they're setting up this, a couple, and there are rumors with another big Riyadh season card in Africa. I don't know if anyone's heard any news on that, but that's interesting to me. But yeah, Brandon Glanton is fighting a guy who's ranked number 495. So we'll see if I think what's going to happen, kind of like last weekend, guys. When the weekend got there, all these fights came. So from my perspective of being able to analyze and break it down, I had 3 ready for you, and the one got canceled. So tomorrow I'll be uploading Richardson Hitchens and George Kambosos Jr. breakdown, film study, and my prediction on that. I think the narrative of that fight is it going to go the distance? Is it going to, somebody going to be stopped? When I'm betting my money, something, Brandon, good evening from Chicago. I subscribed last week and been enjoying. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. Chicago in the house. What's up, DJ? Appreciate you. You were on earlier. It's our second live stream of the day. You could always catch the channel, the live streams. We just uploaded the Andy Cruz fight. But the 3 questions I ask myself when I'm picking a winner is the 3 main questions if I'm gambling on a guy. Like, for instance, Andy Cruz versus his Japanese opponent. When I'm thinking about method of victory. Will his Japanese opponent be able to last the distance? Will he be good enough to go the distance? Will the Japanese opponent be good enough to not get stopped? And is he good enough to win? So those are 3 major questions you have to ask yourself that I always advise people to ask. And then whenever you come up your answer, that's where you put your money. Andy Cruz money line is the safe bet. George's Wash. Yeah, Andy Cruz money line is a safe bet. But guys, $1.07, $1.08 right now. It's one of those things that is the juice enough to squeeze, to put on a parlay, add a little bit maybe. I'm thinking about the method of victory odds to add value to the bet. So we have to wait. Time will tell. George Kambosos did not look great against Jake Wiley. He started off good, but Jake Wiley was winning rounds if you watch that fight. David knocked out in 3 of his last 4. Yeah, when you're losing rounds to Jake Wiley, dude, you think Cruz is kind of chinny. I think are you trolling? How many rounds has Cruz lost in his 5 total fights? You know what I'm saying? You're trolling. I think Cruz might have lost a handful of rounds ever in his 5 fights. We did, guys. You do know that I posted that Murataya has been elevated. So the 135-pound landscape has shuffled in the last 48 hours. Keyshawn is stripped. Murataya is the IBF champ. Tank has the WBA. And Shakur has the WBC. So if you didn't know, because Lomachenko retired, the IBF has lifted Murataya to full world champion at 135. And we know the WBO stripped Keyshawn due to him missing weight. So that that WBO belt at 35 is vacant. And, just so you know, I think Cruz is special too. At 29 years old, it's going to happen right now. It's going to have to happen. Especially with the heat he has on with that amateur career. I want, 5 total fights though. Let's get a lot of fights for him. Hopefully he fights a couple more times. He doesn't really get hit a lot. He does all the little things really well. when you talk about a skill set, a guy's toolbox at the pro level, mate. The problem with Andy Cruz is his level of competition. When are we going to see, all right, you're fighting a Japanese. I don't think he's a world-class guy. I think he's a domestic guy. 17-1-1, good record on paper. But when there were rumors about, what's up, Muscle? When there's rumors about Andy Cruz coming from the amateurs to the pro game fighting Tank off jump, people are like, all right, when is this going to happen? Cruz only lost rounds to Moran. Okay, there you go. And it's like, who was it that said he was ready? I think it was Eddie Hearn. Said he was ready to fight Tank off jump out of the amateurs. He ended up stopping him. Yeah. So I think the narrative right now on Cruz's career is more or less, when are we going to see him against world-class opponents? Do you think Cruz is... PJ, what's up, buddy? As soon as I get the odds to see Cruz, I got the money line odds, but to stop him, I'll let you know. But I'm leaning towards a stoppage. I expect Andy Cruz. I think Andy Cruz should stop Mishiniro. I think he should, man. Muscle, I see you everywhere. Been on ESBR. I can't believe Mercado. I know, Muscles. I was talking about the Mercado fight. Yo, Muscles, I had that video edited. I had it predicted. It took me like 2 hours. I was just about to upload it. And then on our live stream this morning, one of the boys were like, dude, BoxRec doesn't have the fight up. And sure enough, you guys think Cruz is special. I think he's good, but I'm not super impressed. Yeah, I understand both sides, Goat. I understand both sides with what you're talking about with Cruz. When I say Cruz is special, let's talk about the champions at 35 and what they possess in a toolbox. Murataya is a champion at 135. What are his skills like? He's a world champion versus Cruz's skills. Does Cruz do anything better? I think so. Okay, that's one. Tank Davis. We know Tank. We know what he possesses. We know about the knockout power. We know what he looked like against Roach. We know Tank's 30 now, even though Cruz is 29. How much more? What are we going to see of Tank? What's left there? He has that power. Are there things Cruz does better than Tank? I think so. I think so when we're talking about speed, what he does with his feints, how he moves throughout the ring, his comfortability fighting at three different distances, and then the other champion we just talked about. I'm fried, dude. So anyway, do I think Cruz is special? I think Cruz is special. I don't know if the sites will offer props for that. We'll see what happens. Guys, we're entering 30 minutes. My girlfriend just hit me up. She made me lunch. I'm going to stay on for a couple more minutes. But yeah, 135 is an inch. Shakur. Okay, now go. Thank you. Thank you, Goat. Shakur, I put Shakur over, but in terms of skill set, yeah, I don't. It's a good one. I think Shakur cancels out Cruz. I do. I think Shakur is a lot better than people think, man. Do Cruz have knockout power? Cruz has stopped 2 out of his last 4 opponents. He's 5-0 with 2 stoppages. And everything I'm hearing coming out of Philly is that Bozy... I'm leaning on the fact that I'm going to believe the sources I have in Philly that Bozy Ennis is teaching the kid how to sit on his punches. Because a lot of times, does he have natural nuclear power that some boxers just have? That one-touch power that we just saw in the heavyweight division with Wardley? Or that, some guys in the lower divisions have? They just touch you, they got to off. No, he doesn't have that. But does he have the speed and the understanding of time and distance to create power? I think he does. I think he just has to learn to sit on his shots a bit more, and I think you're going to start seeing more knockouts. We just have to see him fight more, though. He only has 5 pro fights. You know what I mean? This is his 6th pro fight. I want to see, but we know he was fast-tracked. People were comparing him to Lomachenko in terms of fighting for world titles right off jump. We just haven't seen that yet. I think that's some frustration for the boxing fans. And when you're relying on skills like that, the clock is ticking. You're 29 years old. I wouldn't even bet on him to get a stoppage at plus money. I disagree. You give me enough plus money, mate. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on it. But John still is a great channel. David, I appreciate you, man. We don't have to agree. Yeah, the best part about my channel, this is my opinion, is it's not an echo chamber. I don't ever want to have a channel where we're agreeing on everything because that would just be weird. You know what I'm saying? PJ, what are you talking about? Yeah, I definitely don't want a channel where we're agreeing on everything. He only fought twice in 24. I just need to see. Yeah, same. I know. And maybe there's something going on behind the scenes. Maybe I don't know why he hasn't been active. I don't know. But then again, we don't know how many contracts have been sent. We don't know who says no to what fights. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's something that the fans, us, people who watch the sport, you don't always know about these little fine details about what's going on. Like if you would have told me last week this time that Keyshawn was going to miss weight and that everything I'm hearing about Keyshawn, he didn't tell anybody. The promoters, I was watching an interview with the promoters, Andy Cruz, not Andy Cruz, Edwin De Los Santos, one of his guys. And you would think that when you're coming into a weigh-in for a world title fight in your hometown, when your whole town bought tickets to see you fight, and you were struggling to make weight, or you thought you were going to miss weight, that you would tell somebody. And to see the lack of communication, so we agreed Cruz going to win. But yeah, PJ, right now, Cruz is winning. Let's wait until the week progresses to get kind of froggy with our method of victories. I have to see where the odds are. If they're even going to let us, they should let us have that prop bet. I'd be shocked if we didn't. Cambo really plus 2,200 decision, man. WTF. Dude, you know, and some people aren't. I mean, how many people out there are really in love with Richardson Hitchens' work, what he does, his body of work right now? He's still young. I mean, not a lot of people are super in love with Richardson Hitchens and how he goes about his work in terms of, it's fair to say he's not an electrifying, sell. You know what I mean? So maybe it's worth it. I might leave the New York card alone depending on other cards. Yeah, I have the last New York card. If we're gonna, well, technically the Hall of Fame card was a New York card, and some of us won money on that. I'm gonna go Cruz with the money line on a parlay. I like it. It's a safe bet. Guys, 30 minutes in. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm uploading George Kambosos and Hitchens next. I just uploaded Andy Cruz, his video. It's on the channel. I'm going live. We're in the heart of it now. Going live twice a day, early and late for me. And then I'll be reading the comments. Let me know your feedback. Like this video. David, I appreciate you for tipping me. Tip your boxing content creator. I like that. I heard Gary say that the other day. Tip your bartender. If you guys can, it helps the channel, helps me go a long way. And stay tuned. Every day we're coming at it. Let's make that money.